Hey guys, um, I am eating a cookie, so that's why that was an awkward beginning. Um, this week we are talking about parental relationships, and this came from a subscriber's email updating us on her relationship status with her father, and just kind of asked us what we thought, but to broaden, the population that this would adhere to, we just decided to go straight for the parent relationships. So, um, I think this is a really important topic, and it's not necessarily just LGBT related, which is kind of cool because everyone who has parents, I think, goes through, you know, something with their parents, and let me explain what I think that something is. What I mean by that is I think, and I'll have a disclaimer that I know that there are certain situations where, um, like, your parents aren't present, or, like, you don't really have a, you've never had a relationship with your parents, but the way I'll be talking is for, I think, the bigger majority, where we all have parents that, have been active and present throughout our lives. And nothing kind of out of the norm in that situation. Um, because you grow up and your parents are your go-to person for everything, for how you're supposed to act. I mean, they'll scold you. They scolded you, and told you um, how to behave and what to do and what not to do and why you shouldn't do something. And I think that parents set your foundation of who you are. And it's not until about, junior high or high school that you really start to begin asking yourself who you are because, up until that point, you asked your parents. And so I think that that's kind of when the, rebellious stage happens, because you start to realize that what your parents might have been telling you now conflicts in a way with what you're telling yourself, um, in terms of how you see things. Or, for example, I was born and raised, that's weird, I was raised Catholic, and I, didn't like going to church, but I went, and then by sophomore year, freshman year of high school was when I really looked towards myself to say, where do I see my faith? And for me, it wasn't in Catholicism. God, I cannot talk today. I'm sorry, guys. So, I had to talk to my mom about that, and, it was kind of it just conflicted. It wasn't a bad conflict, but, just one where my views didn't match what I was, raised with. And I think that's a crossroads, and when there's not, maybe when there's not enough communication, or if one party or the other is just so persistent on either changing or staying. If your parents like, no, you have to be Catholic, like if my mom did that to me, I think I would have been a lot more rebellious, which I never went through that stage, and I've always been close to my parents. So I think that's sometimes where the disconnect starts to happen with your parents, and why a lot of times through high school the last thing you want to do is talk to your parents, because it feels like everything you want to do, every way you want to dress, everyone you want to hang out with conflicts with, what your parents want or how they thought you were going to be. And so, I don't know. I guess my one thing to end on is, I mean, give your parents some credit. And, no one knows how to be a parent, and they are honestly trying to do the best that they can do, and maybe it's not intentional when they are, um, you know, when they're causing a conflict or something that you find that's very aggravating to you. Just take a step back. And I know this is like so easy for me to say and so much harder to practice, but I mean, I guess if you just like remember that and just remember that, you know, they're making the shit up as they go along. They've never had a, you know, gay daughter before until you brought it up or until, that moment happens. And so it's not like they can just go to this guidebook and be like, the best way to approach this situation is blah, blah, blah. They have to then rely on who they are and how their parents brought them up. And, it just like is this huge line. So I say respect your parents, give them a little bit of credit, you know, for, again, the majority of people. I'm sure that there are parents that just totally suck, but for the sake of the video, I would just give that piece. And that's all I'll leave you with. So, I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. It's like really cloudy, so I'm really sleepy. So, anyways, see you kids around the bend. Bye.